Welcome back to Naruto Anime Re-Review Part 12. This one is discussing not one, not two, but three story arcs because I feel like that's why. Alright, now the three story arcs I'm covering in this one are the Mizuki tracking mission, Bikochu search mission, and Kurosuki family removal mission. Now, in the case of Mizuki tracking mission, that takes up episodes 142 to 147. Yes, a six-parter. Now, one thing I should note though about some of these arcs, yeah, they're anime original, so they probably didn't happen. Though one of these arcs, the one of the characters who pop up in these arcs is a canon character who is not one of the characters of the series. Yep. This one is now Mizuki tracking mission is simply put this. Basically, Mizuki, yes, the blue hair character, the whitish civil character, the character who Naruto beat way back in the pilot episode, returns. Yep. And there's technically a debut in here, yes. Well, debut of a location that, as far as I know, never appeared again in the anime. Nope, never did. What place is that? The Hidden Leap prison, where Mizuki was being kept. Apparently, he put on some muscle, lots of muscle, and they reveal stuff about him, which a lot of it kind of contradicts a lot of stuff established in the pilot about this character. Like, for instance, he had a lust for power, and they reveal, oh yeah, that was caused by Orochimaru. I'm like, really? Okay. And apparently he knew Orochimaru, something they never mentioned in the original pilot. Which I kind of get the reason why they added that in, because Orochimaru didn't make his debut into the Chunin exam arc, which he debuted in the second round of the story. Yeah, and then you also have his two sidekicks, these big, huge guys known as common referred to as the Idiot Brothers, because these guys love to eat and they're both a bunch of couple idiots. Also, the guy who has tape around his nose, around his face, yeah, he returns this episode. He appears as he's here as a prison guard. Also, the thing with this prison is that apparently it's mentioned during the last few years that crime has gotten down in the Hidden Leaf Village, so not many people were sent here. Most of this prison is basically filled with murderers and traitors. Okay? Does nobody in this world ever commit rape? I'm sure robbery, yes, but rape? Yeah, they probably don't mention rape in this series. I mean, robbery, yes, but rape? I guess not. Yeah, they probably do have people commit rape. Probably not sent to this prison. Probably sent some other prison, mind you. Mizuki decides to break out with the Idiot Brothers to go to Orochimaru. Yep. And he basically agreed to have these guys break out with him, along with pretty much most of the prisoners in this prison. Oh yeah, and also, Core Knight, Ashima just happened to visit the prison, just for a checkup at the prison. And they get beat up by the prisoners. Does perfectly fine, and by the next arc, Core Knight's in the hospital. Ashima possibly has been released because he's not in the same bed right next to Core Knight, which that's actually kind of weird that the Hidden Leaf would allow that, because yeah, I get the fact these two are close, but normally if they have like a male and female patient, usually you try to put them in separate rooms, not usually the same room. I thought that was kind of weird, but that's a Hidden Leaf hospital for you. So Naruto overhears the fact that Mizuki might have a connection to Orochimaru. He overhears this in Tsunai's office while he's looking for Sasuke. Also, believe it or not, the reason why he was there, he overheard this because Jiraiya's briefly seen at the start of this arc, and he's there just to remind Naruto, yeah, I'm going on a mission. So he said he's going for the Katsuki, and he doesn't return again for the next two arcs. I think he does return a little bit later. So he wants to look for Sasuke. He doesn't like the fact that Jiraiya's not around, so he can't train. So yeah, he was talking to Ruka. Ruka gets actually some development in this arc, surprisingly. Yeah, not much. where it's revealed that in this arc, thanks to flashbacks, that him and Mizuki are actually old friends. Now, here's something I thought was kind of weird. Now, in the pilot, he first met with Mizuki Sensei, which that's kind of weird because they're both one, they're around the same age, and two, why would you call a fellow teacher Sensei? That makes no freaking sense at all. Yeah. I get a student calling a teacher sensei, but why would a fellow teacher call another teacher sensei? This made no freaking sense at all when you first hear it, and then later on they just dropped the sensei thing. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. So, Iruka gets somehow dragged into it just by sheer coincidence. Yeah. Because him and Mizuki are, well, they have fought back in the pilot. So they go off searching for him, and we see Kakashi and Iruka go and capture up some of these escaped prisoners. And they'll get defeated pretty easily by... Oh yeah, Kakashi's briefly seen this arc. And then he's absent for the next 2 story arcs. They don't explain what he's up to during the next 2 story arcs. But it's possible that after the events of the Mizuki tracking mission, he's probably off on another mission. They don't say he's on another mission, just that he probably is. Also, the thing with these filler episodes, a lot of the time, whenever they have the Genin go to the village, their senseis do not go with them at all a lot of the time. Usually they're off on some other mission. That's the usual excuse that's the regular excuse they give of why the Jonin are not with the Genin on these missions. Yeah. So, Mizuki himself basically is interested in power. He basically gathers up these particular stuff from the Nara clan medical. Apparently, the Nara clan is experts in medical ninjutsu, which that's kind of interesting. Basically, make the medicine. Which I'm like, okay. I think this was kind of... Now, this was actually sort of implied when you see in the canon stuff. This is a bit more expansion here, where apparently they have their own compound in the mountains. Yep, and Mizuki breaks in and steals a bunch of his stuff. Of course, there was a potion, for a particular potion. And of course, he does find the device that helps make it. And it makes him turn into like a tiger, which I thought was kind of weird. They also hear something about Mizuki, aside from the fact that he's Iruka's old friend. Apparently, he's got a fiance. Something that the original pilot never mentioned before. Like, oh, we have this beautiful woman who looks almost like Suzune. Yeah, Suzune's in this arc. She gets taken out pretty early by Mizuki, and then she's absent for the very next arc. She doesn't do a lot in the first half of the series. Nope. Eventually, I had this really cool scene where Mizuki and Iruka are fighting in a bamboo field. Though a lot of the time they're just standing around talking, and of course that's why the flashback come in. Naruto, of course, fighting the Idiot Brothers with Paku. Yep, Kakashi summons him, puts him in Iruka's hand. Now Paku, as far as I can tell, he and Iruka never share any interaction. This is the first interaction. This is the first of 2 things Iruka notices. The other, of course, is him seeing the Rasengan. This, as far as I can tell, the first time he's ever seen the damn thing. As far as I can tell in regular canon stuff, he's never seen Naruto use it before. And seeing Naruto use it, that's actually quite interesting due to the fact the regular canon series never brought this up at all. Nope. So, eventually Mizuki is defeated by Naruto. This is, of course, after he got the tiger stuff. The Idiot Brothers are basically first stopped by Team 10. First time they actually done anything in this series, because here's the thing about Team 10. During the first half of the series, like with the exception of some of the human shooting stamps, as team itself, we never get a chance to see what they're up to during the actual series. Ino Shigacha, which is simply later revealed to be a generational thing, where they hold back the Idiot Brothers in order for Naruto to catch up with Mizuki. Eventually, chakra runs out, and Tsunade shows up and says, "Hey, you guys really don't want to fight. If you guys don't get back to prison, you miss dinner." And like, okay, we'll head back home to prison so we can go have dinner. And that's the last scene of those two guys. Oh yeah, and the reason why they're in prison? Because they killed their teammates because over a food. Because they wanted their food. That's the reason why. I'm like, really? Okay. During the battle with Naruto on Mizuki, he asks him like where Orochimaru is, and he says if you say the Hidden Sun Village, he's not there because his village is empty. Mitsuki doesn't believe him until eventually the potions like wears off and his cells degrading, and apparently his fiance apparently she knew some stuff, but she wants to atone for her sins. Okay, last time I checked, this woman, aside from the fact she was forced to help Mizuki after he broke out of prison, she technically committed no crime. Mizuki committed some crimes, yes. His fiance? No, she doesn't do anything. By the way, Mizuki is briefly seen during I think it's during the next arc, where he's basically being interrogated where Orochimaru is. And that's last to see of Mizuki, because he never appears in the series. He's not even mentioned. Bye-bye Mizuki. Also, in case you're curious though, during the Mitsuki tracking mission arc, we see Team 8 do some training, and Hanada talking to Shino about something. That this is they're explaining the very next arc. Team 10 are seen doing a little bit of training, and of course, to start the next arc, we do see that 1010 is blushing at Lee, who apparently looks like he's put on some muscle. Yes, Rock Lee has put on some muscle for some strange reason. I don't know why. In the case Miki's track mission, it's good for development for Haruka. I like the flashbacks of that was really interesting. And let's see. The prison stuff was interesting. And I like the fact we have some bit of continuity, like with the very next one, because Koronai is still in the hospital. But the next one, the bug one, I love this arc. Because the first time, now I mentioned this in the original review about my Naruto Hinata moments when it comes to the series. That, okay, Naruto wants to look for Sasuke. And of course, Teammate is here to see Koronai. Nada basically, who's got flowers, opens up the door, and then here's Naruto act like freaking Spider-Man right in her face, where she gets embarrassed, and then she just gives him a headbutt, sends him flying. I thought that was so funny. And then she faints. It's also real that she apparently did see Naruto when he was in the hospital after 2 arcs back, where apparently she passed out. We'll see him. Yep. Which I thought was so hilarious. And of course, while Tsunade and Naruto argue, like, you gotta go. Of course, Tsunade's like, don't you have training to do? And he's like, Perfect Sage is still on a mission. I want to go look for Sasuke. Yep. So she's like, no means no. And, well, no, they do, in fact, do something later on with this. So, Hinata, Teammate basically just having lunch, and Hinata really wants to help Naruto look for Sasuke. Like, trying different ways, and then Shino's like, I know of a way. Why don't we look for this bug? And of course, he presents this to Tsunade, which she thinks is a good idea, and just by sheer coincidence, Naruto's hiding in the ceiling. Like, how the heck did she suspect he was even up there? Is never explained. Does she have like a sixth sense of where Naruto's hiding? Yeah, this never pops up again in the series. So they go out on the mission to go look for this bug. And along the way, they had to briefly stop because apparently it was kind of late-ish. This I think it was pretty much sunset. So they set up a tent real quickly, and Naruto's the first one who goes to sleep. And they, well, of course, Shino basically just displays like how they do work and know their comrades. Well, be intelligent. I like Shino's dialogue in this arc. It's really interesting. He may not get much development in this arc, but at least he's written to be such an interesting character. Yeah, and they also explain a bit of his backstory with basically his clan's backstory with the villains of this arc, who are from a rival clan from this hidden stone village, where the hidden village tried to invade the Hidden Leaf, but they were stopped by the Amarame clan, and they were pretty much nearly wiped out. There's like very few of them left. Tsunade, of course, is briefly seen after, well, they get the mission, and that's the last to see of that. Well, actually, she develops it once after that. So they stop, and then Naruto. Now, of course, Hinata basically is seen where she's giving, like, her father and her cousin T. Of course, Neji's briefly seen as like he doesn't do anything except for train with Heshi. And of course, she goes on a mission, and well, Heshi is like, "Don't be a burden to your teammates." Like, okay. So, by the way, at night, and of course Naruto gets up. Of course, any guy would feel this. Like they wake up in the middle of the night, and then they have to go to the bathroom. Though apparently he doesn't use like something to wash his hands as soon as he's done. As soon as he's done, here's some rushing of water. And just by sheer coincidence, he comes across a beautiful naked woman who the viewer can see it's clearly Hinata. Completely naked. And the thing is, he never finds out who this woman is. And the only one can tell, it looks like she is naked. Could see her clothes, could see her look like her pants. And the rest of her clothes folded up on the side. So she basically, this is later revealed to be Hinata, where she's basically training to improve her ninjutsu. Yeah. So yeah, then of course they get closer, and of course she's seen training again. This time with a little more clothing. This time, so they get to the place, and it's a big, humongous like hole in the ground, which apparently is a valley that's apparently protected by the Aburame clan. And they have to basically scale down this thing via climbing, not using their chakra feet, which I would think they would use the chakra on their feet, but nope. They apparently just want to basically do hand climbing with some chakra here and there. They get down below, and they begin their search. Though they have to and they're basically for about a week. And then, of course, while Hinata's training at night, we see the main villain. This like she's from the other clan, where it's like, she's training. Interesting. Yeah, she actually admires Hinata, despite the fact they're searching for a bug. She continues her training, which that's quite interesting. And then of course, starts raining, and then Sarah's like, "Why don't you use Byakugan during the rain?" He's like, "Okay," and she finds the bug, and she points to Naruto, like, "Naruto, the bug's over there," and he grabs it, and he goes like, "Woohoo!" Yep, and he starts hugging Hinata, which she starts blushing, and it's like, "Oh no." Like, oh my, Naruto was so close to my face. Yeah, the viewers know that she's in love with Naruto. I thought this was so hilarious. Though prior to this, they found a bug with similar characteristics. But this bug was too big. And it sounded like a freaking elephant. So Naruto pokes it with a stick, and they start getting chased by the bug. And then the bug gets hit the other clan. So they find the bug. And then, of course, Hinata is taken hostage by the other group, where she's off alone washing her face. So they deliver a letter. Bring the beetle to this hill by midnight. So they try to look for them, but they do succeed eventually later finding their base, which is a giant bee comb, a beehive. Which that's this group's thing, is that they use bees. Not other insects, they use simply bees for some reason. Yes. Why this particular insect user clan only uses bees? Never explained. Also, they really want the bug so they can sniff out this particular hair of this woman's grandfather to find some forbidden jutsu. Now, to find a place where he's buried. The reason why for this, so they can start their clan. Okay, that part is mentioned. Like, who her grandfather was, never explained in this series because his clan never shows up again after this particular arc wraps up. And then, of course, they end up fighting him. And, of course, Hinata shows up for a special jutsu she's been practicing this whole time. And it's basically kind of like defensive jutsu. And she has to take out all the bugs from all three bug users really easily. And then, of course, they fight the Queen Bee a couple times. Second time, Naruto takes out with the freaking Rasengan. Even after they currently defeated the other three while throwing the Queen Bee at it. So, apparently, this lady's somehow still alive, and then Naruto hits the bee with the Rasengan. And it's implied she's dead, but she could be still alive. They don't really go into it. And he's about to use Sasuke's ninja headband to sniff him out. But he loses it when he uses the Rasengan. So he gets it, and then he accidentally farts in front of Nada Shino and Kiba. So also when Nai was captured, she's put like in a stream. Like first she's in the beehive, then she's put in a stream where she gets out of the thing, no problem. And then of course, well, after she gets free, she of course beats all the bugs. And of course, they also had the group thinking that this is Hinata. And Hinata hugging Naruto, something she never does. Even Shino, basically, who knows his teammate more than Naruto does, easily points out, though, this is not Hinata. Of course, Naruto's an idiot, because of course he is. So eventually, he farts, and the bug gets on him instead of the Sasuke's headband. So it's mostly a failure, though. The reason why she was able to do this particular jutsu because she wanted to earn Naruto's respect. And from what I can tell, he did. She did earn his respect. By displaying that jutsu, he was so happy for her. Though this isn't mentioned again, but... And of course, she earns her father's respect at the end of it. Sakura, of course, is angry at Naruto for ruining the whole thing of fighting Sasuke. The book itself never appears again in this series. As a matter of fact, by the next episode, Sakura's gone over being angry. And then we have next arc, which is the Kurosuki family removal, where this one has the debut of a character who actually is canon, though he was made canon after this arc aired. What character is? Ryo. Yep, they made this character canon. And believe it or not, this character was actually referenced in Boruto. Yes, this one character who appeared just for this 5-episode arc. Actually, 6 episodes. Yeah, this was 6 episodes. Yeah, the Bikochu search mission, that was basically episodes 140 51. This is 152, 157. That was the episode he finished up. Yep. Yeah, he makes his debut in this arc, and of course he dies at the very end. But the thing is, his swords are in fact canon as well, which, okay, that's quite interesting. Though they did alter the guy's backstory for how it's going to be canon, but at least they said the fact that, yeah, this character is canon. Kishima made him canon after this arc aired, which, that is cool in his part. Yeah, he's one of like 2 manga writers I've seen where they make a character who was technically anime original, and they made this character canon. The only other writer I've seen do this, aside from Kishimoto, was the writer of Inuyasha, where they had this female character who was Koga's bride, who was basically his bride to be. And she grew fond of this character so much, she made her canon to the manga. Yes. Yeah, this is one of 2 series I've seen. Yeah, that's another example I could think of. Like, if anyone else can think of like another particular manga where it's had an anime adaptation and used an anime original character, and then while the manga is still published, the writer of the series integrates his character in canon. Though in the case of Ami from the series Inuyasha, her whole thing with her was kept canon when she was added to the manga. For Naruto, when they added Raiga to the canon, they altered his backstory where he was actually with the seven swordsmen well before he met up with, I think his name is Renma. I think his name is his little boy, who is apparently this arc's version of Haku, except he doesn't have ice jutsu. His jutsu is that he can see through things. Okay, an X-ray vision. Okay. Yeah, and most of his arc, this guy cannot walk at all until he eats some the curry of life. Oh yeah, and the purpose of this arc is that, okay, so these 3 guys really want to see this clan removed from their village. So they run to Hidden Leaf, and they ask for help. Well, thanks, of course, to Naruto, who helped basically bring this in. Of course, Naruto initially doesn't want to go, until they brought up the fact that the leader of the group is Raiga, one member of the 7 Swords, which Guy is heard of. Yeah, because Guy comes back in this arc. Yeah, this is technically the first canon appearance of the character. Though, believe it or not, this arc also has the first, anime original appearance of Anko in the series. She does have one appearance in the series. I don't think it's next series. It's actually about 3 arcs after this one where she does actually return. Though this is one of her 2 original appearances she makes. This was a brief appearance, her eating Sanae's dumplings, the last one, and of course Sanae Ingrid and Anko was not seen again to the other arc. So they go to this village, they go find Raiga. Naruto asks him about Kasumi and Zabuza. He says he doesn't like him. Though I kind of remember another version of this where he says, I really want to do a funeral for those 2 guys. He says he couldn't care less about those 2. So, of course, Naruto's mother asks, hey, do you happen to know where Kasumi is? So I think he don't really care about him. He doesn't really ask that at all. He asks if he knows him. Well, of course he knows him because he remembered the seven swordsmen. And at first looked like Naruto when they fight him. They look like they apparently beat him, but well, he was declared dead for an episode, then he just came back, and he's basically kept via lightning, and then of course Naruto, Neji, and Lee following to defeat him. Yeah, Naruto's in this mission with Team Guy. Excuse me, though, Maya Sky, though. This time, at least they explained that Guy was off on their mission. And this person who requests this mission specifically requested Guy for this. Okay, that's cool. Though, when they go here to basically remove this clan, they use a curry shop as their base, which they frequently go to, and you can kind of say this arc is a bit of a development for Rock Lee and Tenten. Yeah, because Tenten gets a little bit developed in this arc. You are thinking, does Neji get developed in this arc? The answer is no. No, he doesn't. I think this is one of 2 arcs in the whole series where Naruto teams up with Team Guy. Though in the case of Byakuya's search mission, that was the first time he teamed up with Team 8. As far as I can tell for Team 10, aside from the Mizuki tracking mission, I think he teams 1 or 2 more times after this, but that's it in this series. Yeah. So, eventually after Raiga is defeated, his assistant is basically made an apprentice, curry apprentice, to the owner of this curry shop, who's no friend of Rock Lee's. And, well, that's it for the arc. It's an interesting arc, though it feels as though it takes a bit of a while. Naruto and the group don't fight Raiga until episode 3. And it takes a while for the story to get going. Also, Raiga developed this thing where he has an obsession with burying people alive. Where he got this obsession from and why he is obsessed with funerals is never explained. They barely explain anything about him in this series. Aside from the fact he met his assistant in the series, explaining the assistant, and the fact he was a member of the Seven Swords. Yeah, they barely give this guy up. Apparently also, he was also part of the Abu Black Ops for the Hidden Mist, which I'm like, that's interesting. When the heck that happened? No idea. They do develop more of this character in Shippuden and in Boruto. So yeah, you gotta at least appreciate that Boruto gives Raiga more development than the actual arc he debuted in. Give or take, yes. So that's it for this particular review. Not much else to say about these 3 arcs. Now, Mizuki training was interesting. The Baku Surge mission was fantastic. Love it, though. Had a bit of a lame ending. This particular one, the clan one, this I thought was kind of interesting to say the least. It's interesting though that we have 2 characters get a bit of development in this arc, but Neji, nope, no development. In the case of the previous arc, it's mostly Hanada again development, though there was a lot of good dialogue for Shino. But Mizuki tracking its development for Ruka. I mean, that's one thing at least got praise about these original arcs for the original Naruto series. It gives basically the supporting characters character development, which I thought was really cool in the series. Though you might be asking, does Naruto receive any character development in the Mizuki tracking mission arc? No, he doesn't. No, he does not. But it gets a little more interesting from here. So, yeah, so that's it for this particular review. I have roughly 3 more reviews I'm going to do. First one is, of course, be Asaki Chen Wants to Hang Out. Then it's going to be Fire Force. And also, because the fact this episode did finally come out today, the very first episode for Season 3-4, Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a dungeon. Looking forward to watching this and doing my review for it, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.